Okay, welcome back to Spitfire Engineering. This is episode 26, and this week Archie's going to show you around the workshop because I'm stuck in the office. But come back in a bit and I'll tell you exactly what it costs to run a business like this.
Steve is now starting on bucket number 7, I think this is. It's the second one in the workshop in a minute, but we've labelled it up as bucket number 7. Now this one isn't in for too much. I'll come and show you in a little bit when Steve's done. But this cutting edge has peeled away from that middle beam there and this edge here. So Steve's just cleaning it all up. We're going to get a load of heat in there, make sure it's all fully prepped, crank it back up into position, and then weld. This is the 312C being wired up by Sean, our electrician now. We have got a massive shaker motor at the top there. I think they've had a 15 and a 5mm mesh, maybe a 10 and 5mm mesh. Yeah, pretty decent screening setup. We've got chutes to go on, finished wiring up. All the stickers, so we'll have the big 312C there, the 4-pocket ones there, the warning of the moving parts just here. Yeah, lovely new paint we've got on this now. So it's a little bit wet, but the shine on it is very good, I would say so. In the workshops with both fabrication, cutting, machining, painting, assembly, we try and make everything as efficient as possible. So just in this one corner of the workshop, we've got a little lathe there that we need to fix up and sell, I believe. But we've got the toolboxes right next to the machine. So we don't have, and a little workbench there, a little bit messy, but not the end of the world. So we don't have staff wandering all the way around the workshop, getting their tools, running back, forgetting something and having issues like that. We try and make it so that everyone's assembling in their own area near their toolboxes. But toolboxes have wheels and they can be moved to accommodate. It's not ideal, but due to the size and the weight of some of the machines and projects we have in here, we cannot make it so that every single part is assembled in a bay next to the person whose toolbox is there. We sometimes have to change it, and we have little trolleys that we bring around with us so that staff members can fill that trolley full of whatever they need, be it PPE if they're welding, or snips for their welders, or anything from spanners, impact gun sockets, all of that stuff. They put on the tray and the trolley, take it to the machine. That way we have everything right here, ready where they want it, and we don't have tools being left on the machine. Because in years gone, we've had tools being lit up and it starts scuffing the paint. And when you've got paint as shiny and as smooth as this, you do not want that to stick out like a sore thumb. Just up there, I'm not sure if you can see, you've got 2 letters, 2 numbers and a percentage sign. That is RK 80%, and that is Rob showing, that's Rob's initials, showing that he has torqued that motor to 80%, as in 80% weight, and it's fully torqued. And that is so that when anyone goes on site, if we need to adjust anything on install day, or if the customers adjust anything, they know without looking at anything that it's been torqued up by Rob to that said percentage. So we don't have any customers ringing up asking, oh, what's this at? What's this at? We know instantly, that's all logged. And it's all sorted. Load of radio brackets for a local digger dealer. They have these made for them, we make them all, paint them, and then we supply them. They're installed to them. And then their fitters put them in the cabs of the diggers. They're only small ones. That's another little project we often have in the yard. Right now, you can just about see the little glowing dots where Neil is stitch welding the front sheet on the E21C frame. So there's the main frame around here, and then we stitch in a bit of folded angle iron, or folded angle. We have it as flat plate and then fold it. Just in the middle. That stops the bouncing of the metal and stops causing issues and noises. Yeah. Very nicely done, Rob.
But we don't use the audio, just clip.
No, I'm going to make sure they use the audio.
Why?
Because your silicon in is
Pure
superb.
autism just went very nice, right?
Not autistic. Not diagnosed. Rob is currently siliconing the top of one of the decks at the minute. So, for the 118 recovery lorry. Some people might be wondering why we don't fully weld it. Multiple reasons. One, he doesn't need it. Two, it's a waste of time and money. We're going to have to pass that cost on to the customer. It's not like it's cowboy style or the customer's being a cheapskate. It's just something else that the customer doesn't need or want. We're very happy to do so. Rob, in a previous employment, used to fit windows, so was very good at siliconing. So hence why we get him to do 99% of all of our silicon work. And it just keeps the moisture from getting between the sheets of steel, creating rust and gaps for rust to form. Lovely caulking, Rob. So this is the top deck for the recovery truck completed. Same as was shown to us. We've got roller wheels down here, checker plate bed. I think this is 120 by 60 box section for the outside, and then Steve has cut down and tapered the ends to fit the same pattern as was supplied to us, and then ground this. He's fabricated and ground this to the same radius as the standard box section, so as soon as that's painted you would not know it's any different. And to be fair, there's not much of a giveaway now. Slight seam with the grinding marks, but that's about it. But yeah, nice work Steve, nice work Rob for siliconing. Ready to get flipped and primered. The best toolbox about, I reckon. Of course it belongs to me. My Milwaukee pack out there, ready for sight. There. Now there's a man missing from there at the minute. Mr. Colin. He's off on holiday this week. We are missing him very dearly. There's a job that came in at the back end of last week that requires his expertise. It's a load of machining for a very regular customer. 14 more of these is what Colin needs to machine. So this is the template that we first created for the job, and then these get welded onto the end of some aeration pipes. And then due to the nature of how this is used in application, they just get eaten away with rust and whatever else is in the ground. So here we have it, is what Steve's doing on the bucket. Bucket number 7, so that's the one I couldn't quite remember earlier. So it's bucket number 7, it's the second one in the workshop. So Steve has now prepped all of this area, gone for a good stone disc clean up there, same for in the middle here. And what we're going to do is, what Steve's done here, is we're just going to weld lifting eyes on, pull a chain hoist between that top lifting eye and this bottom lifting eye, try and squeeze it up, get a bit of heat involved, and then weld it back up. Progress with Connor's bucket now as well. He's currently at college for his 1 day a week for his apprenticeship, so that's why he's not here working on it today. So we've got enough space in the workshop that we can have everyone, if they're away for a day, their stuff can be left as is. There's no need to pack it up, and we're all working on top of each other. So Connor's whole bay is left as is. He knows exactly where everything is. He can come back tomorrow morning and crack back on with this. So he's got the floor welded in completely on the outside now. Don't know. Have a look. Yeah, it's yet to be welded on the inside. So I think Connor's got the wear strips just to weld on the outside, the bolt-on edge to bolt on just along there, which is in stock, where it's right here actually. It's got a bolt-on edge here. It's double-sided, so you got a sizable bevel there and there. So it can be used both ways. Make sure they get the most out of their cutting edges, most bang for their buck. We've got the bolts over here, so slightly different to how lots of bolts are in general. So these bolts, I'll show you in a second. So in the most basic way, those people who are working in the plant or machinery area, they will understand and know how this works a bit better, this bolt will go like so, through the cutting edge, and poke through into the, so that's a little bit tight, into the bucket like that. And then you'll notice that there is no sort of fixing. You can't get a spanner on there, there's no hole for a Allen key or anything like that. Nothing like that to lock it in place. She'll have the normal nut screwed on the back side. This is where it's quite interesting. These are specially made for these. You've got the squares in that cutting edge there. So you've got the square in the cutting edge. And you can see on here the flats for the bolt. So that drops right in. If it goes in the other way, yeah. So if this is just for demonstration. If it goes in the other way, that is perfectly flush with the other side. So it'll go through there. Nothing's getting it, and that square locks it in place for when we're putting the nut on. Jobs are good. This is the second pin we've got for the bucket. So Connor's managed to get one of them out in position, but this one he's going to have to change around and rotate the bucket so he can hammer the pin out easier. This is supplied to us by our customer. They supply us with all the cutting edges and all of the pins, everything like that. We provide all the material for the floors and cutting edges. We do all of that. Wear strips, sorry, not cutting edges. They've just found it's the most cost-effective way to do it for them. Works well for us. We don't have to get involved with other suppliers and wait for lead times. Our customer, they're a massive national company, so they have a stock of most of this. So we can get these pins cross-drilled, sent to us, and we normally have them in within a week or two. And we quote for these buckets, and these are semi-infill job for us. Whenever we need to, we'll just drop onto these whenever one of the lads has got an afternoon free. Nice way of doing it. This is a machine I'm not 100% sure if you guys would have seen in the episodes before. This is our powered rollers, so any meshes or punch plates that we do for our trommels, they all get rolled in here. We do all of that in-house. Rob is going to be on this in a minute, and I will get some footage for you of him doing that. Not too long ago, we noticed we were getting issues with these rollers here. These were all spinning out, they'd just been worn, they hadn't been greased properly, and just the general fabrication of how they're in there was really awkward to maintain. So, I think about a year ago, I took this machine apart. Then myself and Colin came up with a plan. We made all the bushes. I welded the ends of the shafts where they'd worn down, and then we got that machined because we can't quite fit this in our lathes, but I welded them up, welded the ends of the shafts up, got them sent to a local machining company. They machined the ends for us. We got them back in here, made the bushes to suit just in case they were very slightly out. So all the bushes are a perfect fit, nice grease runs everywhere. We've got grease nipples at the end here, and just over here, and then there, and then same the other side for the other roller. But yeah, little bits like that, a little bit of home maintenance, and it makes the whole job a whole lot faster. It's very easy to grease. Rob's just doing a little pre-check before he starts rolling, and he wanted to grease these up just to make sure. Without revealing too much, because I know our electrician spent a lot of time getting all this right, this is the inside of our 312 cabinet. It's fairly simple by his standards, but very confusing for someone like myself. So we've got the fault light up there, so if there's any issues with any of the power, that will blow up red. We've got the conveyors on and off, the deck screen on and off, big e-stop button there, the main control, and then the obviously panel there. And then this is something we've started doing a little while ago. It's very cool in my mind. So we've got the starting procedure, if it will focus, starting procedure, stopping procedure, daily maintenance and weekly maintenance for the machine. So yeah, this is going to be very slightly different on a lot of our machines. The bulk of it will be the same. So the weekly maintenance, for instance, grease conveyor bearings, check conveyor belt and size gates for damage. That's about it really. There's not a lot of maintenance to do to these. Daily again, clear any debris, build up around moving parts, check power leads and controls for any damage, check the security of any guarding or panel work, check belt alignment and tracking, and then adjust accordingly. Belt tracking is a issue that when we turn up on site, any customer that's got conveyors, they always ask us, can you have a look at this? Whether it be one of our conveyors or someone else's. And it's something we always have to do, and thankfully all of our staff install, all of our install staff know exactly what we're doing for tracking conveyors. Same with assembly, we know exactly what we're doing for assembling the conveyors so we can get them tracked up perfectly. So as soon as the customer plugs in, they can start making money. Just along here, on this beam here, is where we're going to have the big 312C sticker. I will try and get a video of, I'd imagine it'll be Rob installing that. He's the best at stickering. Most of us are alright, but he is the best, I think we'd all say. Don't want to say it too loudly, might inflate his ego a little bit. Yeah, we get a video of that. God forgive it. So, you should be able to hear me. Slightly noisy work, a little bit of grinding and forklift action going on. And this is a 312, just been wired up completely. Currently being tested, and the belt is getting tracked by Dan, so he doesn't want to be on camera, he just hops behind me for a minute. So, see if it's going to strap on and flip a set, that's what we're lifting the motor up with. Got the shaking motor up there, and then this is how our rosters are working. Probably slightly too fast for you guys to be able to see. You can see it at the top there. So, that bit is very still at the bottom, because obviously that's it's connected to the frame, which isn't moving. And then between these arms here, and then the rubber blocks within all of these rectangles and squares, that is what buffers and creates the vibrations. So that motor up there is spinning around, I can't remember which way, either like that or like that, creating the vibrations, going up and down, which is then transferring onto these shakers. So material wiggle its way down here through the meshes, so you've got your bottom mesh here, so anything sub 5mm will drop right the way down onto the conveyor, which you can see there. We're going to take them right off the top into the fine spile, and then obviously you'll have your oversize going here and your mid-size going off here, or vice versa, whichever way the customer wants. This is running on a 16 amp 3-phase supply. So very quiet. Once you've got it set up in a workshop or factory, wherever you are, have it in the middle of the yard and you wouldn't hear it if you're at the other side. Easy as that. You can have a generator powering it just underneath, because obviously there's no fires going under here. You can have a generator tucked underneath here somewhere, right out of the way. Easy as that. So we've got Dan to just get the stickers on, track it up, double check everything, check over all the Torx bolts, make sure they haven't moved, check over all the rest of the slightly less important bolts, but obviously all bolts are tightened. Just make sure everything's perfect, ready for the customer to come and have a look. Probably should be doing this because I paid nice money for these pliers, but that is how it works. Have the material bouncing itself down. See how everything falls down in a nice line. Not too fast. And then the same applies for the bottom mesh. See, Steve's now pulled this up into position, little stitch at the front, ready for the full weld. Another slightly frosty morning in the yard. We've got the refurb trommel back here, 312, just finishing touches before it gets collected. Yeah, ready to start the day. The new office stairs that we built, working wonders. The last few mornings it's been frosty, they've had no issues with coping with that, because we've got the checker plate flooring, which gives it that extra grip, makes it a bit safer for everyone. Doing the job. Got the Mini Raptor very nearly ready for collection. This is our one of our original demo ones. This is so slight little spruce up. Customer didn't want too much doing to it, so we've got the punch plates out, getting some new meshes in there. Rob has rolled them. They're what you've probably already seen, I think, in this video. We'll get hopefully get some footage of those going in, and then the final test ups. A few more pumps of grease, and then this machine is good to go to its new customer. 2 construction cages in the yard now. 8 of them have already gone. Just waiting on these 2 to be collected, and then on to the next batch, I believe. And once again, our new outside steel rack coming in handy. We've got a few of our big bits on there, and all in all, keeps the material not too bad. So this has been here for a few weeks now, and that isn't rusted up too much. Some of the stuff that's been here for a month or 2 is starting to rust over, but it's not an issue. Slight bit of cleaning up when it goes into the workshop. And be good as new. Just a bit of surface rust, that nothing more than that. Just here we've got our alley. Fairly thick alley box. That's 25 by 25 by 5 maybe, and then 40 by 40 by 4 or 5 as well, I think. These are for the burger van build that we've got. So these 25 by 25s are for the table, and then the 40 by 40 is for the wall we're putting up at the back. So we're cladding up the wall, making a wall, cladding it up, fitting a new door, making it a sealed unit. Connor's next bucket in his bay now. So he had his good day at college, came back, finished that off, and then he's now on to, what bucket is this? Bucket number 3. And he's currently on site this morning, but he should be back later to get this sorted. There isn't much on this. We've got 6 replacement teeth, the roots are fine, and then a new floor. So you see he's used a straight edge to attach that along the bottom so that he can plasma that fine, and then he's used one of the wear strips to guide across here, so he's got perfect cuts. And you can see just there where he has started to mark out where he's going to be putting his floor in. So we'll have that much gap, well, I'd say 10 or 12 mil, probably more like 12 15 to be honest. 12 15 mil there, so that he can get some nice welds in there, make sure it's all solid. And he's having a 10 mil replacement floor, I believe, 10 or 12, whatever the parent metal is. That's some of the completed buckets, so you can see the new floor in there. So we've got a bit of concrete residue in there from the top of the bucket, but got a new floor been welded in there. That's the one that Connor did, with 2 brand new pins, cross drilled with some M20 bolts through the end. They're definitely not going anywhere. We've got this one here that had the cracks just along there and along there. Steve's welded all that up, made sure it's all good. And this last one here, which has just had the replacement cutting edge, it's a bit more wear for them. And then the all they've got left now is paint. Not a huge addition to the end of them, but a bit of paint just to finish them up, make them look pretty. It'll be alright. This is not one from this batch. This is one that the company have currently just got stuck here for a while. Not an issue for us. It's good to block up the yard with, but this is what they look like when they're all painted. So this one's been picked up and moved about a bit since it's been done. So slightly scuffed, but still perfectly good condition for the customer to pick up whenever they want it, whenever they need it. Here we've got a lot of shims being cut. We've got multiple different sizes. Here are a selection of them. These are all out of 2mm plate. We've done a few test ones just to get the plasma width perfect, so the ID and OD are bang on the customer spec. So yeah, we've got the 2mm shims there, all the 1mm shims here in the respective piles. And this is the program for the 2mm shims. So you can see the different ones here. Currently cutting around here, so you see that yellow dot move. So that is the plasma torch going around the sheet, cutting out of the 2mm plate. For a very, very regular customer of ours, a plant dealership, they sell lots of Devlon machines. They've got some more shims for their customers. And what Rob's doing now is, every time the sensor cuts out first. Torch goes around the outside and it's just pushing it up, just like hook it up. Some people might think it's a bit of a waste of time in terms of waiting on the machine to cleanse itself. It's actually a lot faster than letting the machine cut, letting all of the plate fall through, and then having to constantly recut. This way we know we've definitely got all of them. They're all fine, they're not going to get accidentally recut by the plasma, and they're not going to be much more efficient. Doesn't seem at first, but it definitely is.
So as I said earlier on, when I had Arch, let me have your all warm out. Arch, thanks. That's better. I'll tell you what, this is dead warm, this is. Get it all up under it like this.
What brand is it?
Snap-on. How much was this?
30 quid.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be like 300 from Snap-on.
30 quid.
I'm not doing that. Anyway, roof. Let's talk about the roof. I did mention earlier on about the roof. Now, apparently, this roof was put up in 1920 something, so it's like 100 years old, this roof, and it's got 1 or 2 leaks. So, what they're going to do over the next couple of weeks, they're going to strip this roof off, re-timber it, put new panels on the roof, and this will be our new stores. Now, because we are on a farm, this is an old farm building, the floor has got a raised area in the middle, which apparently was the old corn dryer, and that's why we've got a raised area in the middle. So there was a corn dryer in here originally. Now, when we moved into the rest of our workshops 2 or 3 years ago now,
4 maybe.
yeah, probably as much as that, we were offered this unit, but I didn't take it purely because of the floor. I couldn't use it as a workshop, and I couldn't see how it was going to work. So somebody else came in here, and then they've moved out 3 or 4 months ago, and I said, you know what, we'll have it, because we can use this as our new stores. So the plan is, at the minute, through that door there is our current stores, which is a total tip in there at the minute. It's not big enough. There's stuff all over the place, needs sorting out. So through there will be our machine shop, so our lathes and mills and everything will go in there, because we can't actually get a forklift in there. So it's like a natural dead area in the middle of all of our workshops. So that's going to turn into our machine shop, and we're going to move the stores into here. So let's show you what we're going to do in here. So, a little bit Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen and that. Archie's now thinking, who the hell's he? Interior designer, I think he was, on the telly. Anyway, we're not going to do a lot of feng shui in here, but what we are going to do is, on this area here where the floor is a little bit raised, we're actually going to create like an internal compound. We're going to have a gap here, I think, is what we're thinking at the minute. We're going to have like a gap here, we're going to have racking up there, racking across that wall, across the back, and then come down here because we've got this natural step here. So we're going to try and keep all the racking on this bit here. In the corner there is the tea room for the lads. So we need access through there to it. We've got an area there that at some point we're going to have lockers for the lads to have lockers so they can put their own stuff in. And we will probably end up with some sort of shelter here where we can do paint mixing and paint storage, because at the minute we're utilising a corner of the spray booth, which isn't ideal, but it's just what we're having to work with at the minute. So we'll actually change this area here into the paint mixing area. So the idea is that all the stores will come in here all be in racks. We've got a nice big door here, so this will be our goods inwards. So whenever we get a delivery, it'll come in here. We can get a forklift, obviously, to unload stuff, bring it in here. We might end up with a new forklift or another forklift just in this area here. Just have a small forklift that can just unload trucks outside the door, bring it all in here. And then this will be goods inwards in here, and then it will get put into the storage area compound in the middle, and then Paul in the office can then put stuff away. And it will just make life a lot more simpler, because at the minute the problem is we're having stuff coming in, it's got no home. So what we're going to try and do, we always did it before, but as we've grown, we've run out of space. But we try and do it so that when we get all the components coming for the jobs, we try and store it in one central location, so that when it comes to working on one specific project, we know that everything we need is in that stillage there. So that's what we're trying to do here. Hopefully we'll have all this sorted, racked out, finished before Christmas. Like I say, having the roof done over the next 2 weeks, but apparently somebody said we've got 80-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday, so we'll see if that continues into next week. But that's the plan, a couple of weeks' time, try and get all this done, and then we can start moving in. Okay, so Archie's had his hat back, he's on the camera, nice and warm, and I'm sat here. I think we got up to 2 degrees today, Arch.
Maybe just, probably not with a wind breeze.
Maybe just, it was -1 when I got here first thing this morning, so it's still a bit chilly.
Good hat, put it back.
No, it's your hat. You keep it. I could put my hood up if I wanted. Like that. Anyway, let's have a quick walk around the yard. It's been a bit busy this week. It's Thursday today. I've not done any filming this week because I've been in meetings. Went to Manchester yesterday to look at a job. That looks quite promising. Tell you more about that as it happens. I've been to actually have a conversation with the company about buying their business this week. If anything comes of that, that will come up in future episodes as well, because that really is quite tasty. So we've had lots of different things going on this week, did lots of inquiries in the office that I've had to sort of wade through because I was off last week. So it's not been a particularly proactive week with filming, but let's get you caught up in the yard where we are. Now behind us here, this Raptor here was one that we sold a couple of years ago to a company, and they no longer need it. So they've sold it to another one of our customers. Now the customer that's bought this, he's already got a Raptor trommel, he's already got a mini screen. He's talking to us about another screen as well, but he's just bought this one, and this is coming for us to have some work done to it. So we're going to change the punch plates in the drum for him. He's going from, I think it was about 25mm, and I think he's gone down to 10mm mesh, I think, in this, isn't it? So he's gone to that now, so we're changing that. We're going round it, doing a few repair jobs on it for him, and we're also potentially looking at some bunkers underneath. He's not sure if he's going to go for that or he's just going to put it on some Lego blocks underneath. So that's in for refurb at the minute, and then that will go out to the customer. So that's where we are with that. We've also got, which I think Archie has already filmed a bit of, we've got one of our 312 screens, which we will do a separate standalone video for this, because we've done it before with our mini screens. We like to do a product video, so if anybody's interested in our machines, there's a video specific to the products, and we haven't done one for one of these because we've not done one of these for a little while. So this is going to cast your mind back a few episodes ago now. There was a company that hired an E21 just as a trial. They hired it to do animal feed. Well, that was a really successful trial, but they wanted a bigger screen. So, see you, Lauren. Bye-bye. So they wanted a bigger screen for more throughput, and what they're doing is they're screening dust out of animal feed. So we offered them the 312. They've gone for that. And interestingly, they've come back and said we might want another one as well in the new year. So that's quite good as well. So the 312, as you can see, is very similar to an E21C, but it's just bigger. The 312, 3 metre long deck, 1.2 metres wide. E21, 2 metres long, 1 metre wide. So that's what the numbers mean, if nobody's worked that one out before. But yeah, very same design. It's pretty much identical. It's just bigger, really. The main difference is as well, vibrator motor sits on the top on this one instead of underneath, because it is such a big motor on this. We can't physically get it underneath, so we've had to put on top. But if you're loading it with another conveyor or a small machine, it's not a problem. It's not in the way. but it just gives you more capacity out of this screen.
Roll it.
Okay, so just before we filmed this, we've had a customer in. They process carpet, and they've brought some samples in, and from what I can gather, carpet has got bicarbonate, sodium carbonate or something in it. Anyway, it's got a dust in it which has got a value, and they shred the carpet. They take the carpet in, they shred the carpet, and obviously the dust inside the carpet as part of the manufacturing process has got a value to it. So what they want to do, they want to screen the carpet to try and get the dust out of it. Now, they said to us about it and said, look, we've got our EB215 here. We've got some 10mm mesh. We could knock something together and we can do a trial for you. So we've got, that's 5mm, isn't it, we've got in there? It's not 10mm, it's 5. So we've got a piece of 5mm mesh kicking around that we'd had a little while on that. So we'd knocked together a real simple screen just to do this trial. And came in this morning, bought some product with him. So we've run it over this screen to try and get the dust out of it, and he's really happy with what it's done. Now, this is the carpet here that's been shredded. He has actually just bought a new shredder, because the problem is with this, with the shredder that he's currently got, if you can zoom in a little bit, Arch, where it actually gets shredded, like there for instance, the heat generated in the shredding process actually singes the fibres together, and actually it clumps together, so it doesn't actually liberate the dust. So the customer has actually just purchased a brand new shredder. They've done a trial with it, and that doesn't actually happen on the new shredder. So the material that will be coming off of his new shredder is actually going to be a lot fluffier and a lot freer, which means the dust will come out a lot easier. So that's good news. So we've done a quick trial on here with the product that he has got, and he's really happy with what comes out of it. So if you come around that side, Arch. So this dust in here is what they want to get out. Now what they're saying is they think 40% of the volume in their product is actually the dust that they want to get out of it. And to put it into monetary terms, at the minute, to get rid of this product is costing them £70 a tonne. Now if they can reduce the weight of the material that they get rid of by 40%, which means that it's going to cost them less to get rid of the product, and the dust that comes out of it actually has a value. I can't remember what he said the value was of that, but they can actually charge to get rid of it. So they're not going to spend as much money to get rid of what was a waste product. They're going to spend less on that, and some of that waste product is now turned into revenue. And I can't remember the numbers he was saying in that, but he was saying that this is going to transform his business if he can get around this problem. So with him getting a new shredder and also having a screen off of us, it's actually going to transform his business quite a bit. The thing is, he wants to do 100 cubic metres an hour, so we've now got to come up with some sort of screening system that can cope with that volume. Because as you can imagine, fluffy carpet, there's a lot of volume, but there's not a huge amount of weight per cubic metre. So we've got to come up with some sort of screening system that can handle that sort of volume. Now I think what we're probably going to do first is we're going to build a test plant so that we can actually change the meshes in and try different meshes, and actually build a small screen that we can actually put a set weight over, make sure that it's going to get the 40% out of it, and try and work out the sort of volume and the tonnages that you can get over a certain size screen. So that's an interesting project, that is, and one that we're looking into, and hopefully will come up in future episodes. Obviously here at Spitfire we've got our own core machines. We've got the 312 that we've just shown you, we've got the 21C, we've got the EB215, which are different screens, different applications. We've obviously got our range of trommel screens, so we've got quite a range of different screening options to suit different applications and different customers. But if a customer comes to us and says, I really need to do this and I need it to look like this, so long, so wide, and a certain product, we can actually do a bespoke solution for it. And I think this customer is going to end up with a bespoke solution that will suit their needs more than what our standard products are going to do. So if you've got a bespoke screening solution, come and talk to us. We'll probably come up with a solution for you. Now, I said earlier on that I would go through what it costs to run this business. Okay, now in no point is this YouTube ever been set out to be a business channel. It's predominantly an engineering channel. But I thought you might find it interesting to sort of understand the actual mechanics of running a business like this. So let's give you some headline figures of where we are. Okay, the business now employs 20 people. Our turnover for this year, because the financial year is just about to finish, we'll do just over £1.5 million in sales this year. Now, that's the headline sort of numbers, but what does it actually cost to run a business like this? Now, every month, our wage bill is between 40 and 50 grand, thereabouts. The actual supplier payments that we pay to our suppliers can range anything between 50 and to 75 grand. And normally, those two payments, wages and supplier payments, are fairly close to each other, probably within a week. So we have a big chunk of money go out of the business in a fairly short space of time. Now, other costs that we incur that you probably wouldn't even think about, consumables for instance, welding wire, nuts and bolts, paint. For us, we class them as consumables because we can't actually associate any of that to a project. That runs between £3,500 and £5,000 a month. What else have we got? We've got steel. We would probably spend on average between 20 and 30 grand a month in steel. Now, depending on the projects that we've got through in the workshop, there could be some other big bills as well. Say, for instance, at some point this year, when we were doing the 5 conveyors to France and some other stuff, our motor and gearbox supplier, that was about nearly 10 grand a month, 1 month, just for them. The belts for those conveyors that went to France, that was 18 grand, I think, just for the belts for that, because they were specially made belts. So there's lots of different costs associated, and our standard cost for the month, if we all just turned up and put our feet on the desk and drank tea, it would cost us 60 grand a month just to keep the doors open. And me and Melissa, who does the finance, we sit every month and we have a finance meeting and we go through all the costs every month and we just go through line by line, and we also track to see whether it's normal, see whether the consumable bills are going up, just to see, is there a trend? Do we need to change our costings? Because when we price new projects, basically all we're selling here is time and materials. That's what we're selling. So when we price a job, we have to work out what material we think we're going to need on the job, and we have a specific software system that has got all of the common material that we use on that. We can add new material to it if it's as we go, things do get added to it, but we've got all the common material that we use on there with all the latest up-to-date pricing. Paul normally updates the pricing on a fairly regular basis as the new jobs come in and we reuse that material. So we work out what material we're going to use, and then we also allocate some time against it. Now that is a black art. Anybody who's ever done that will know, and especially some of the jobs that we do and the size that we do, that is a black art, and some of our jobs go into the hundreds of hours. Now we know that we'll probably be out by about 10%. We price it on what we think it is, but we know that it might go over by up to 10%. We know that because we've tracked it, and historically we look at the numbers and we track it. One number that me and Melissa obsess over every single month is our cost per hour. What does it cost for 1 hour of the lad's time in the workshop? Because we have to track that, because when it comes to pricing new jobs, we need to know how accurate that figure is and quote all new jobs based on that figure. So we absolutely obsess over that, and if it goes up, then I know that we either need to reduce costs somewhere or we need additional workshop staff, and we have to justify that through the work coming in. We have to justify the new staff coming in, and also we need to look at increasing the workshop capacity, because the more people that we've got in the workshop with the same overheads, will bring the cost per hour down. So we watch that religiously like a hawk, and it becomes an obsession. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a flavour of the headline numbers of what it costs to run a business like this. Okay, so we've talked about the pallet conveyor and the 90-degree section, but I've not actually had a chance to film it yet. So, if you remember the 3 individual conveyor sections with the 3 chains on it, well, in reality, they're going to be going over there, and they're going to feed onto this short piece here. And this piece here will lift up and down. So it's got a pivot point at the far end. See them bearings across the far end? Let me just come over here. So you've got these bearings here as a pivot. And also in here, we've got an air cylinder underneath, and it's plumbed in to some valve work over there. So these 3 chains here will lift up and down. Okay? So this will lift up, and the pallets will come into here. When the pallets come into here, there is a push plate on here that's spring loaded, and it will also have a limit switch, an electric limit switch on there. So as the pallet comes in, compresses the springs on the push bar, it will trip the limit switch, and at that point that limit switch will stop these chains from feeding. And also at that point it will drop the air out of the cylinder will drop down, and we've got a load of rollers like this that are all going in here, and they will start. So as the pallet goes down and those rollers start, the pallet will then start going down the conveyor. And then we've got these pallet conveyors going down here, and then down the far end we've got 2 45s, because it's got a dog leg in it. It's going to go down there and sweep to the left and go on a bit further and then sweep back round to the right. Now what we've also got on here is all the control boxes on the side on here, because as we've said before, we've got powered rollers like this. This is a powered roller here, and then under the cover on the far side we've got chains up until this point here. So we've got chain drive up to this point here, and at this point here the operators will unload the pallets, take all the weight off the pallets. Then when the pallet is unloaded, they'll press a button and send it further on down its way, and the empty pallet will continue all the way down to the end. And they only start grinding and hammering when I'm in the workshop filming. Okay, this week's fun fact. Now, I had a message from Dave at Jprojects the other day, and I said that the next one would be specifically to him, and he's definitely going to like this one. I found a good one for you, Dave. So, tarmac. Tarmac was invented, I've got to look at the computer screen here because there's a lot of information to go through here. Tarmac was invented by a Welsh inventor in Swansea in 1860. Now the guy was called Edgar Purnell Hooley. He patented it in 1901. Originally called Tarmacadam, but shortened to tarmac. But here's the kicker for you, Dave. The first tarmac road in the world was actually Radcliffe Road in Nottingham, your hometown. There you go. I said I'd sort you out with a top fact, British engineering fact, just for you, Dave. There you go. Leave your comments, please, below. Okay, that's it for this week. Like and subscribe, message as always. We appreciate the comments, and hopefully we'll catch up with you on the next one. Here this week, Archie's in charge of the camera. Here he is. He's got his old school welding helmet on. We're going to do some filming with Archie, top presenter.
Job another his Spitfire Engineering. Get to know the name.
Welcome to Spitfire Rapid Questions with Gavin. So Gavin, how are you feeling today?
I'm alright.
Yeah, a little bit nervous?
No.
No? Not shaky at all?
No.
No? Right, you ready?
Like a leaf, mate.
Yeah. 3. What's your favourite size fan?
19 mil.
What's your favourite colour?
Blue.
If your favourite colour was a feeling, an emotion, what would it be?
Happy.
Yeah. What's your favourite smell?
Your mum.
I would like it to be clarified that my mum is Gavin's wife, so that is not a...
Just because it's weird for you, it's not weird for me.
If you weren't married to my mum, it would be weird. If you were calling your employee's mum your favourite smell, that is a little bit weird, but thankfully she is your wife. Anyway, cool, thank you. Andrea, quick fire, rapid questions.
Oh.
What's your favourite size spanner?
I don't know.
Oh,
Great. 3.
alright, bit random, fair enough play. What's your favourite thickness of material?
5 mil.
5 mil, very interesting. What's yours, Gav?
8 mil.
8 mil, very interesting. Bit weird, but very interesting.
Why is that weird?
It just is. What's your
Why is
favourite
that
colour?
8 mil
Green.
weird?
Green. Nothing green in here, is there? So I think Spitfire Blue should have been the answer.
Oh, sorry.
What's your favourite smell?
My boss.
Again, a little bit weird. Just say your husband.
My husband.
Don't say your boss. Very strange. What's your favourite piece of equipment in the yard?
The brake
Rapid.
press.
Well, brake press. All right, fair play. Good. We'll see you next week with Spitfire's Rapid Questions.